You are watching Xirtus.
And I could get into every room. And so there was a bunch of buildings. So there was probably, I don't know, like 7 or 8 buildings that had all the technology that they had put in for years around the original building that they would test the aerodynamics around all the spaceships, right? That's where that supercomputing unit came out of, is they stopped using just air and smoke to figure out the aerodynamics of a real rocket. They started doing it on computers, and so they started building that out, and then eventually they filled like whatever 7 buildings full of different computers, older ones, and different steps that they had taken and upgrades. And so by the time I was there, they were going in and tearing out all these old things, and they had all these old canisters of tapes and film and different
Yeah.
ways of recording information. And so I had to take some of that stuff and destroy it and then
Oh my
move it
God, bro.
into building. And so I moved when you did that video on the at McMoon's, right? I
Yeah.
had moved. I was one of the people. There was like 4 of us. I was one of them that moved all those canisters over to there
Jesus.
from the back building that they were holding it at for a while.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the reason I bring that up is that we have some sort of weird timeline crossings that we've been,
Yeah. Clearly,
you
somehow we're like, we touched some. This is like a comic book where you got that ooze poured on you, kind of a thing. Yeah.
yeah,
I
where
get
we touch
it.
similar things and there's some sort of weird connection. But I used to tell people this all the time since I was young. I always knew somehow, and I used to tell my family members, they're dead now and everything, and I said, I'll be able to travel back in time and get you from different time periods. Like,
Yeah.
I
I don't
always
know
knew it.
why, but it just seems like also we're meant to touch we're like set up on a train to get to that moment too. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, our parents, our grandparents, like all of these little things that make it so that that would happen. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
things that
How
pull
do
me
we
out too. There's
grow
so
up?
many things I've done that just pulled me out of a super dangerous situation. I think about that a lot too. And it's like,
Yes, yeah. Weird things, anomalies in the timeline. Like my grandparents, they before they moved up to Silicon Valley, they were from Laurel Canyon, right? They
mhm.
lived next to Liberace. They lived like 4 houses down from Liberace. And the reason
Good
my
neighborhood.
grandfather bought that house in Laurel Canyon, and my mother and my uncles were raised there in Laurel Canyon before they came up, in Hollywood, the weird Laurel Canyon stories and stuff like that, right? Um, is that he was in the military, but his family was the set builders, and they were the Rogers. They were the set builders for Hollywood, right? So
Mhm.
our family used to build out all those sets and everything like that. And they have an
Dude,
old
that's one of the
connection.
things I keep thinking about when I'm in Dresden. Because, like, when I think about in Camarillo, like our family's, there's a museum for like the Adolfo Camarillo Ranch for our great grandfather house. It was in ruins, but because it was in Hollywood, we were able to get copies made of molds and things, and so it's like a set recreation of itself,
Yeah,
right? And this is exactly what Dresden is because they
yeah,
destroyed, bombed it, and now they've rebuilt it. And they've used plaster molds and Hollywood like techniques to recreate like the statues and the chisel. So in a lot of ways, it's like a Hollywood set instead of itself.
very Disneyland, right? And that
Oh yeah,
and Walt Disney, right? German, right?
yeah,
Anaheim, all that
right.
whole
Or at
area,
least Gothic, yeah.
yeah, heavily like German influence, right? And that's where we get
Well, there's like a
uh
lot of questions about what is Deutschland or like what is Österreich, right? Ustar, right? East Tar Reich, the Tar Empire, the Eastern Tartarian Empire. It's like right in Austria's name, and
yeah,
so you think about the Austro-Hungarians, right? The Germany itself has the German, like the Saint Germain is almost in the title of what we're thinking, but you've got the Allemans. There's several tribes there. So the Persian Goths are like in some of the oldest when we talk about Turon, like they're called the Goths, right? The Gotas. So this
Yeah.
Visigothic tribe is a Persian tribe. So that's this is where that whole concept, like when they're talking like where did they come from or who is like most people are nomadic. And it's interesting in the Bible. I was looking at this earlier, thinking about it because there's a lot of Muslims in Germany, a lot of Muslims everywhere. That's the point of what I'm about to say. The Bible says that God will take, is it Abraham and he's 100 years old and his wife is like 100 years old. And he's like, I'm going to make you pregnant. Like the angel's telling her. And she's like, not trying to be rude, but she's like, you're not going to make me, I'm old, in her mind quietly. And but these mind reading angels are like, why would you doubt the Lord? You're going to have like so many offspring that like the whole world, it's going to be crazy how many offspring you have. Well, if that's just about the Jewish people, that's only like a few million or, so people, it's still impressive. But if it's about like the Arabic and Muslim people, that's
Yeah.
billions of people. That's half of the world. You know what I mean? Billions
Yep.
of people. So it actually like makes a lot of sense, and it does make it counts the idea of the Allah man, that they're like the men of Allah, right?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, and I think that ultimately that the maybe the one of the ways of looking at that message was also there's a lot of mixing. The Middle East is a mixture of humanity. It's a mixture of the North and the South, right? And that eventually we would all become just like them too, that we become this mixed race sort of thing. Because I don't really know if we can pinpoint exactly who was or is what they were then, right? Like what happened to the 12 tribes? There was a couple times there was
Right.
12 tribes, right? There's a lot of history that's very uh contentious and very lost. So that's a whole another argument on itself. But yeah, I think that uh the Muslims are uh, just another part of the the story of what unfolded from what we can call religion that was made during that time.
Yeah,
It was
it's a weird. If you're talking about like this idea of a breakaway civilization and people protecting family members, and also around the world, you've got all of these shrines to family worshippers that are trying to keep the family line going throughout history. It makes a lot of sense that eventually people will start to associate it with like guardian angels,
yeah,
or these like who are these people that are protecting a tribe? What is a tribe at a certain time in history? So it could be there's this out of time breakaway civilization. It's going far back to make sure that after a cataclysm, that this lineage of humanity that we are all a part of is still going until the singularity, right?
yeah, and I think for me, um, the there there is some ancient knowledge that was understood, and um, there was elements or factions, whatever, good and evil, that were dueling over that information, and that information was taken, put into secret and symbolic forms, and they knew some more ancient magical or uh, earth knowledge or something like that, right? That they could get information from this feminine creature, from Mother Earth, if they did certain things, spiritual practices, psychedelics, different things like that, right? And they can attune to hearing her voice and
Hmm.
getting unfolding the future. And they had to run from different characters that didn't want that or wanted to steal that information to use it in the negative aspect, to take that info and use it against humanity, and take all the fruits of the labors of time, right? And so I think that they ran from them, and they had to pretend to be I think this is where you get the different factions of the Muslims. I think this is why it is that we can't really track all the tribes and stuff like that. I think that they were
Mm.
running with information, would be my best guess on why things have unfolded the way that they have and why it's not so easy to trace. And there was groups pretending technically to be Muslim, but uh, technically were more like Zoroastrian or uh, you know, uh, this is where
There's
it
even the
gets
Sabbateans too, right? Like the
yeah, yeah.
Sabbateans were
Well,
forced to convert to Islam. Yeah.
yeah, and then what were the sorry, I'm having a brain fart here, but who were the ones that the Gnostics, right?
Right.
So that's
Yeah. A
why
lot of Gnostics had to be.
yeah, in that video why I say that they're Gnostic fakes, because to me it makes more sense that we have a lot of there was real Gnostics, real Gnostic information, and it was just about the real knowledge of Mother Nature and how to attune to her and all that stuff, and what really was going on. And the Catholic Church needed to uh, muddy those waters, so they made fake Gnostics, which is most of the information that I think that we hear about Gnosticism nowadays, and that's why it's so diluted with shit like this world is a prison and all this stuff. Like that's exactly what the liar would do. That's exactly what a devil would do, is say that this place is a piece of shit. Like treat it like a piece of shit. It's just a prison for you. And you're going to create your own prison out of it because you don't like it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Instead of focusing on it being something that's actually beautiful and a gift that was given to us and some place to cherish, it that's how you can test whether it's truth or not, is because if it has love and it's about fertility and love and generating more things and more love and passing that love down and honoring it, that's how you know it's real. Whenever you find stuff that is non-loving and just wants you to throw it away or call this place a prison or something like that, then I think you're dealing with something that is of the opposing faction, and it's false information.
Dude, you could totally do the light dance.
Begripsligt livet, så var klar ved, east of Arthur.